More Than Housing, World Habitat Award winner 2016, is one of the largest and most ambitious cooperative housing programmes in Europe. Through a collaboration between 50 different cooperatives, the development has 400 housing units, 35 retail units, and a range of shared community spaces and services. In September 2017, we brought a group of international practitioners to see the project for themselves. What did they get from the experience?
This pair exchange is so important for us because we discover what our colleagues in other countries done about the social housing, the cooperative. And for us, it's so interesting to take the best practices and bring them to our country and contextualize it and enhance our practice in our country.
Yeah, for me it was especially interesting to see how, in a very specific context, which is Switzerland, which is very positive for, or very good context for cooperatives, what can be taught to people who are in much more complicated contexts where the conditions are not as good. So I think it was really interesting how the effort was made to extract those elements of the Swiss experience that could be useful for other settings, actually in Europe, but also beyond Europe.
It is very important to get to know these examples, existing examples, contemporary examples, that to see how they started, what were their initial goals and what were the difficulties, regardless of the context, which is very, very different, of course. To try to see what ideas people had and how they managed to implement them, to get them into action, into realization.
Because we saw lots of different projects, lots of different cooperatives that started from the scratch, and at the end they finished with very nice cooperatives, and I gained lots of information how they managed to organize the people, how they managed to organize the finances and all things that comes with them. I've learned how they organize really from the beginning, because they had no support from the city, they had no money, they had no funds, they don't know who to ask, and I found this information, how they did it, with very little of support, very encouraging and very informative for our case.
What's been really interesting has been talking to lots of the other participants about what their pressures are and their challenges locally, and it's been very interesting having a tour and having a walk around and seeing how the challenges which are actually faced by most of the participants, including myself, have been tackled or addressed by the team at More Than Housing.
I found very interesting that even though the economical situations and conditions in these countries are not as they are in Switzerland, because it's quite a rich country, we all struggle more or less with the same questions around housing, around community life. And what I've learned from the participants are, raising the questions, maybe looking at the systems a bit more differently, but then they ask some really, really specific questions where we thought, why not abstract this to a certain level and try to provide some best practices, tools and techniques that are also applicable in local situations and to shape local policy making. The World Habitat Award means that this holistic approach has really been recognized. It's recognized this possibility to transfer the lessons learned that we have here to other countries to support them. So it's a recognition of the participative work of all our members, but also the opportunity and the framework that is possible to transfer to other countries and local situations. Thank you. Welcome.
demonstrate that kind of a solidarity with this working class for 2 years, then with me or not.